कालकालेश्वराय शिव शिव सर्वेश्वराय शम्भो शम्भो
जय 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 महादेव जय 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 महादेव शिव शंकर आदि अनंत शिव शंकर आदि अनंत जय 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 महादेव जय 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 महादेव
Namaskaram. Namaskaram to all of you, wherever you are. Those of you who are here today in Tennessee, well, temperatures are 6, 7 degrees. Many of you brought children, please take care. We thought we'll set up a fire, but once the fire is on, everybody will huddle up. Social distancing. Cold as things. This happened. A Christian priest was posted in the Alaskan region. Single man post. Missionaries went ahead of even the military forces, ahead of the soldiers actually, most of the time. So he was posted there and he built a small little place and of course the church was funding him and he was keeping it going, so after a year's time, a bishop came to check as to what's happening. So when he came, temperatures were sub-zero and the bishop was not used to this and he struggled and came inside. Then he asked him, "How do you manage in this weather?" He said, "I just hang on to the rosary and it gets me through." Oh, that's wonderful of you, what a pious priest you are. It's rare to find someone like you, fantastic, but I'm not able to bear it. This cold is just killing me. He said, let me give you some whiskey. No, it's allowed. So, then he raised his voice and said, "Rosary, get some whiskey." A young Alaskan woman came with a whiskey bottle. So huddling not allowed in this season. Well, unfortunately, the infections in America is kind of a bit out of control. Last week, some of the days, the deaths are over 2,200 per day. Some scientists are saying we are just rounding into a calamity. Hope it's not so, but it could be so. Europe, pretty bad, but looks like the numbers indicating on the way to recovery. India definitely on the way of recovery except a couple of cities. Vaccines. Well, as you know, 2 companies in America have come up with their vaccine. The Russians have come up with their Sputnik. And India has come out with 2 different types of vaccines. But I want all of you to understand, vaccine definitely has its possibilities, but it also has its intrinsic limitations. I've been talking to some of the medical people and they say the efficacy of the vaccine within you may be on for up to 2.5 to 3 months. I don't believe any nation will manage to vaccinate their entire population in 2.5 months' time, especially in United States, because the vaccines that one other company has produced for you need to be stored and transported at minus 70 degrees Celsius. Well, how much facility is there in this world, even in this country, which can be managed at minus 70 degrees Celsius? All of you know, there's very, very little. To create that facility, to transport everything at minus 70 degrees for it to be effective is going to be a massive challenge. The Russian vaccine, they are claiming it's at a little higher temperature, which would be okay in winters of Russia. Probably you can transport it on a motorcycle. At least in Siberia. The Indian vaccine can be transported between 2 to 8 degrees centigrade plus, not minus. But its problem is, it's a two-step vaccine. That is, you need to take one today and take another one after 30 days, otherwise it will not be effective. Even in your own families, if you have 5, 6 people, you will have trouble to get them for the first vaccine and then the second vaccine. Forget about the entire population. So vaccine will definitely, bolster us to some extent, but it will simply not go away like that. Yesterday I was in a business conference because Isha Insight is going on for the first time virtually. All the business people talking in terms of post-COVID world. So I told them there is no post-COVID world, because there never was a post-tuberculosis world, post-pneumonia world, post-anything for that matter, because it could recur somewhere and once again rage across the world. So in many ways, we have to contain it. Social control, individual control over what we do is a significant part of this. Vaccine can be a big boost in that direction, but not an absolute solution. Death in last 24 hours, United States is 1,367. India is 486, Brazil 501, Russia 496, France 581. Just in these 5 countries, it's over 11,000 people. Not to be taken lightly, that's all I'm saying. This is not to paint a black picture, a negative picture. This is for us to understand that you must be successful in life. One very important ingredient of success is you must stay alive. Hello? It's a very important part of being successful. But when you start off, this happened in your school, maybe later in your university, later in your work, it's happening to people, maybe not everyone, but to a whole lot of people. Their commitment to success is weak. They want to succeed, they will take 3 steps, then something little interesting happens here, they will go away here, they'll go away there, they'll go away there. Hey, I want to live, huh? Their commitment to success is weak. Either situations around them in some way, situations can impede you from doing what you're doing very easily, many times it happens to everyone. But when this happens, people weaken their commitment for their success. Maybe physically, they'll feel little weak, they will weaken their commitment to success. Maybe their emotions slosh around a little bit, they will weaken their commitment to success. This is very important right now. However long it takes, this virus, you must come out of this successfully. That means you must stay alive, that's an important part. And commitment to staying alive should not be slackened, no matter what happened. Somebody very dear to us passed away, all the more important we must live. People around us are all sick, all the more important we are healthy to take care of the people around us. So our commitment to success should not weaken because there is social drama going on, or physiological drama or psychological drama, whatever happens, your commitment to success should not weaken. That is what gets you across so many lines in our life, so many barriers in our life. So, what does success look like? What does it take? You must understand, those who made any significant achievements in their life, they did not, I don't want to take any personal examples of anybody, I'm trying to avoid obvious things that are coming to my mind. Well, I know family and friends who always have their breakfast on time. And after breakfast, of course, they must have coffee. After coffee, of course, they must light up a cigarette and sit there nicely because they're trying to become peaceful. And then they will go to work, come back home exactly on time for lunch, eat lunch, rest for 1 or 2 hours, sleep, then evening have one tea and then smoke, and then again go to work. And 8 o'clock, 8:30, they're back home for dinner and then maybe other things, drink and this and that and whatever. Well, that's their priority. It's fine, I'm not complaining, it should not be that way. But those who have been very successful, either in music, sport, art, business, spiritual process, doesn't matter what, those people never know when they ate, when they slept, when they got afternoon rest. I have not seen such a thing in my life. So, those who are committed to being successful with whatever they are doing, one important aspect of their life is they're not settling down wherever it's a bit comfortable. Because comfort will happen when they lower you to in the grave, very comfortable you are, Have you seen how comfortable they are? Once they're dead, if you throw them there also they're comfortable, if you lower them they're comfortable, even if you burn them. Right? Yes or no? Comfort will come. Right now, it's about ensuring that there is profoundness of experience and there is impactfulness of activity. Because If they had given you a limitless amount of time, you could do all those things, nothing wrong, I'm not against them. But they gave you such little time with such tremendous potential of being human, that's the problem. If creation had made you like an earthworm, I'm not saying there's anything wrong with an earthworm, it is just that it's a unipolar potential, it can only do that much. An earthworm is not thinking of climbing a tree because it knows it'll be picked up by the birds, it never has such aspirations. It just wants to recycle the earth. You know, it is beneficial to so many other lives, including us, but its objective is very clear, to eat and to reproduce and to die. Very clear objectives. That purpose to fulfill, he strives. I don't think he sleeps in the afternoon. I don't think so, because many afternoons I've seen earthworms, they were all vigorously active. But a human being came with too many potentials. Because of that, it needs a certain level of striving for a human being to forget about the world, to consider yourself successful. If your idea of success is you're doing little better than your neighbor, I call that sickness, that is not success. You are happy that your neighbor is worse than you. Is this sickness or success? It is sickness. But in some way you feel fulfilled with what you're doing, let's consider that as success for now. It doesn't matter whether you're better than somebody or worse than somebody, that question should not even come up in your mind. But in some way you feel you're using yourself fully and there's a certain sense of fulfillment in your activity. Well, if you're capable of just closing your eyes and simply sitting without any activity, that's fantastic. But you cannot do that. You cannot do that right now in the states that you are. You can't simply close your eyes and become still. Instead of being busy, you will become preoccupied. That doesn't mean you're improving, that means you're regressing in some way. The problem about this success is people always making judgments, I did this, I did that, maybe this didn't work, maybe this is a mistake, that's a mistake. There's no such thing in life. See, at one time you were a monkey, all right? This is not me, this is that Englishman, you know. Charles Darwin said, you were all monkeys. At one time you were a monkey, just a brief while ago. Was it a mistake that you committed, that you were a monkey? Or was it just a certain stage of evolution? Hello? Was it a mistake or was it just a certain stage of evolution? Similarly, since you were born, because as a human being you are born largely unformed, unlike other creatures. Other creatures, if they are just… their food is taken care of, they know what to do with their life. Because human being has come with such open sense of possibilities, you come unformed, you don't come fixed. You have to fix yourself. Different people throw different types of balls at you. From all over, your parents, your teachers, the school, the neighbors and the society and the world throws all kinds of things at you. To gather all this muck and make something worthwhile out of yourself is your business, that's your success. It doesn't matter whether somebody thinks you're worthwhile or not, you feel you're a worthwhile life. Good enough for now. World may not recognize, it doesn't matter, but you know you're worthwhile. This needs a certain striving. Otherwise you look here, look there, no commitment for success, especially in a time like this, do not misunderstand the word pandemic. Fortunately, it is not killing as many people as previous pandemics have. That's our fortune as a generation of people. We also have better medical protocols today and we're able to reduce the fatality. But long-term impact of this pandemic upon our lives, once we are infected, well, it's anybody's guess, all kinds of things are being said. But definitely, nobody is saying there is no damage, it'll come and it'll go away. There's no such thing, there will be damage. How much damage? Depends who you are, what is the state of your physiological self. Accordingly, some damage, but nobody gets away without any damage. We may get to live, but we cannot say nothing has been touched in our system, something will be affected. So do not underestimate or misunderstand the pandemic. Coming out of this uninfected, important, that's success right now. Hello, do you agree with me? Staying alive is success? Huh? Or only Saturday evenings you're alive, how is it? Today Sunday morning, usually people are dead, at least the young people are dead on Sunday morning. They were alive on Saturday evening. They will wake up Monday noon time. This happened. There was a karate master in Japan and he had a disciple. One day, this disciple seeks an appointment with the karate master and then asks, why does my ability not improve? Why am I not able to do this as you do? Why am I not able to punch or kick as you do? You're over 70 years of age, I'm 22, but still I can't kick like you or punch like you. Why my ability is not going up? Then the karate master asks, have you seen the feathers of the gull, the seagull, when it is going into the sunset? Have you seen the fire at the tip of the feathers? He said, yes, master, I have seen. Then he asked, have you seen that golden line upon the peaks of the mountain when the sun rises? Yes, master, I have seen that also. Have you seen the shimmer of light on the ocean when the sun is high up? Yes, master, I have noticed that phenomena also. Have you seen the moon reflecting itself in the pond? Yes, master, definitely I have seen that also. Then he said, that is the problem. Stop watching all this shit and go and train. So you need to understand, behind every success there is a certain striving. This week, the world has lost a legendary football player. In America, you know him or no? Hello? Soccer player, you know? Oh. Well, he was not just legendary, he was magic. If you watch him play, Maradona, well, there are skills, but I'm telling you, there are a lot of people on the street side in many cities in Europe who have similar skills. Really, in the city centers, there'll be one guy with a ball, he will kick it, if you want he will do it 1,000 times like this, he will make it stand on his head, he will make it stand on his shoulder, he'll roll it down his back and kick it back again. Maradona's videos are there where he is doing all these things. I'm saying there are any number of people who can do that. But still, somebody goes beyond that. One thing is, he doesn't have the physical stature of other football players, he is much, much shorter. But one thing you will see is, when he's on the ball, he's just on the ball, nothing else. It doesn't matter, you see this guy falling down but he's on the ball, you make him do whatever, he's on the ball, you can't take his eyes and his focus off the ball. Because that's all his life was about. Once there was no need to kick the ball, then he did not know what to do with his life, that's another matter, unfortunately. The other aspects of his life didn't work out so well. But as a ball player, rarely anybody rose to those levels, became magical. Why I'm saying this is, that's how focused you should be on your success. Success does not just mean money, success does not just mean professional stuff. Success means as a life, you're successful. Through this pandemic, success can be more simply defined. That is, you're alive, you stayed alive and you're healthy, that is success. Please be focused on the ball. If you go here and there, well, life need not be very kind to you. It's very, very important. Because as time passes, people will become slack. This is what is happening. When it came the first wave, people got a little tight and they understood they need to do this. After 3 months, oh hell with it, what will happen? Nothing happened, see he didn't die, she didn't die. So what is the problem? Let me go and die. If you're volunteering for that, it's up to you. You know, I like volunteers. But that's not what life is for. Life is not for throwing it away. Unless you have such a cause that you're willing to wear your life out for it. Otherwise, simply throwing it away is just an irresponsible… It's out of laziness, it's out of lethargy, it's out of lack of focus that these things are happening. But of course, you will weave a philosophy about it. Oh, what is there? We are born one day, we'll die one day, what about it? This is not coming from any great wisdom, this is coming from lethargy and, lack of focus. This is a good time. If you did not have it all your life, this is a good time to earn that focus. That I want you to watch some of the… you just watch Maradona playing, just see the way he's on the ball. Skills are there are any number of people with skills, but not everybody will get as far as he did. But hand or foot, it doesn't matter, focused on the ball. Most of you not getting it, So, if there is something like post-COVID world, if there is such a thing, you must be around to celebrate. We are going to throw a big party. Hello? Will you be there? Yes. Only few people are saying yes, what happened to the others? When the virus is over, I'm going to throw a massive party, will you be there? Yes. Good, that's success. Be focused on that. Just get an RSVP for the party, dates we'll announce later. Yes. I wrote a little something, but not in English language. Okay with you? Yes. It's called Thai ಮಣ್ಣು. ಕಾಲ್ ಕೆಳಗೆ ಮಣ್ಣಾದೆ, ಮೇಲೆದ್ದು ಮರವಾದೆ, ಎಲೆಯಾಗಿ ಕೆಳಬಿದ್ದೆ, ನೀ ಯಾರವ್ವ? ಬೆಲೆಯಾಗಿ ಮೇಲ್ ಬಂದೆ, ತಿನುಸಾಗಿ ಜೀವ ಕೊಟ್ಟೆ, ಬದುಕಿದರೂ ಸತ್ತರೂ ನೀನೇ ಆಶ್ರಯ, ನೀ ಯಾರವ್ವ? ನೀರಾಗಿ ಬಂದೆ, ಹಾಲಾಗಿ ಬಂದೆ, ಜೇನಾಗಿ ಬಂದೆ, ನೀ ಯಾರವ್ವ? ಉಂಡರೆ ಮಣ್ಣು, ಉಸಿರಿದ್ದರೆ ಮಣ್ಣು, ಸತ್ತರೆ ಮಣ್ಣು, ನನ್ನ ತಾಯೇ, ನೀ ಯಾರವ್ವ? Well, should I translate this for you? Well, under my feet, your soil. When you rise, you become a tree. Again you fall down as a leaf. Who are you? You come up as a crop. You give me life as food. Whether I am alive or dead, you are the only refuge. Who are you? You come as water, you come as milk, you come as honey. Who are you? If I eat, it is soil. If I breathe, it is soil. If I die, it is soil. Oh my mother, who are you? I heard there are questions.
This question's from Ravi Shankar in Karnataka.
Karnataka is full of Ravi Shankars. You know, when I was in school, in my class, there were about 7 Ravi, Shankar, Ravindra, Ravi, whatever. My brother is also Ravindra. So if I went home, there was a Ravi, if I went to school, there were too many Ravis. Now one more Ravi. Tell me.
Namaskaram, Sadhguru. Can the dimension of mysticism be explored, not just experienced, by a culture or a mass of people, or is it available only to a few with mastery?
Is this question understood? Hello?
Can the dimension of mysticism be explored, not just experienced, by a culture or a mass of people, or is it available only to a few with mastery?
So what you need to understand is the difference between exposure and experience. Are you exposing yourself to the virus? Or are you experiencing it right now? Two different things. See, we can't talk about anything without bringing in the virus these days. Exposure means you get to see it, you get to smell it, you don't get to eat it. It's like a cake in a glass case. Only in the United States they do it, in India they won't do this, because if somebody smells food, after that nobody will eat that food. Here, if you say, is this good, the salesperson eager to sell will bring it out and say, just say, it's really nice. You should never ask, have you eaten it? Because he or she has not eaten it, but by smell, you are supposed to make out. So exposure is one thing, experience is another thing. Mastery is another dimension altogether. Let's start from the top, because I see this question as an elimination process. If you want to have mastery over mystical dimensions, there is no such thing. You have mastery over your perception. Because of that, mystical dimensions have become possible. So the mastery is not over mystical dimensions, you have mastery over your perception. See, you cannot master the sunlight, for example, even physical things. But you can make your system in such a way that it benefits from the sunlight, it doesn't get harmed by the sunlight. There are many things to do for that. So mastery is always about this one. Because you have mastery over this, you may get to do certain things. We were just talking about a football player. The mastery is over his own skills. The mastery is not over the ball. The ball doesn't listen to anybody, you must know this. That is the beauty of a ball. It doesn't listen to anybody's nonsense. If you're good, it is good. If you're not good, it's not good. It's as simple as that. Life is like a ball. If you're good at it, it'll work well for you, it'll go where you want. If you're not good at it will go all over the place. So you cannot have mastery over life or death, but you can have mastery over this. Because of that, you transcend these processes. So you access dimensions which are considered mystical. How do you define what is mystical? Mysticism means just this, to put it very simply, technically. This is not the entire reality, but technically, whatever you cannot understand logically is mystical for you. Hello? It is not entirely true, what I am saying, but it is logically correct. What you cannot figure within your logical framework of mind looks mystical to you or magical to you. If I go to the tree and pluck a fruit, you will say, oh, I can also do that. But if I pluck a fruit from here, then that is mystical for you. Hello? We will eliminate the word miracles because there are many problems with that. But mysticism is not something that you do. You don't pluck a fruit, you don't produce a gold pendant, you don't produce this or that. A phenomena which is already there, you experience. If possible, if there is a conducive atmosphere, you make others also experience. So mysticism is not about performing miracles. Mysticism is a profound experience, a profound exploration of the phenomena of life, and that phenomena which is not perceivable by five sense organs. That means you cannot see, you cannot hear, you cannot taste, you cannot smell, you cannot touch. Because of this, it's become mystical. If you could see it or hear it or smell it or touch it or taste it, you would know what is its nature. But because the five sense organs are not able to touch it, because the phenomena is beyond physical nature, Because of that, it's become mystical. So experiencing it will take a certain level of committed atmosphere, certain level of preparation, and certain trust, because you will have to… Suppose I want to walk you across a tightrope, then you need a certain amount of trust. If I stand beneath and say, don't worry, in case you fall, though you are 100 kilograms, I will hold you. You must trust. Oh, how can Sadhguru hold me? Then you will have to fall, bounce back and go back onto the rope. I'm saying it becomes cumbersome and nearly impossible because you cannot make somebody walk into a space that they do not know. Either they must have absolute trust or they should have a mad sense of courage, insanity they need, otherwise they cannot. But exposure is a different matter. We can expose people to mystical dimensions. We can introduce them in the way they understand. We can set up situations where there is a possibility of a little bit of fuzzy logic, but by doing enough… you know what trigonometry? It's like trigonometry, it's not… it is no more, even algebra. That is, 1 plus 1 is not necessarily 2, it could become something else, it's not simple arithmetic anymore. So by using such methods, we can expose people to certain dimensions or certain possibilities. Even if they don't experience, they see the possibility that it can be experienced. Once they see the possibility, generally, the longing to experience will become very strong. Well, some people of course may feel it's too much for them, but for most people, the longing to experience will become strong. Once the longing to experience has become strong, the possibility of crafting your system in such a way that you can experience will become very much a possibility. So as a part of this, we've been… we did one program many years ago, I don't remember which year it was, must be 2004 or 5. We did one program in this direction. We did another one called Anadi, which was more spiritually oriented, but a little bit of exposure to mysticism was there. Now in the month of March this year, I mean the 2021, we are planning to do a 8-day event in India because this is a more cultural exposure, not necessarily mysticism per se. It is a cultural exploration of mysticism. We will be doing a program called… I was not supposed to tell you. They were supposed to make this program by invite only. But now this question has come, so we will be doing a program called Shiva, the ultimate mystic. An exploration and little exposure to that dimension. It is a culturally rich program, it's a one-time program, we cannot repeat those programs because it's an elaborate cultural arrangement with lots of music, art, theatre, everything mixed up. And it costs a lot to prepare the yoga center for this because last time, the last special event that we did like this was Mahabharat. When we did Mahabharat, everybody in the ashram were dressed like that period. The food was from that period. All the decor from that time, that is 6,000 years ago. Hello? So even I lose my battery sometimes. So from food to decor to clothing, everything was from that time and the entire ashram was prepared for this. I think those videos are partially out because we must have shot nearly 100 hours of video, but at the little bit of it is out, I believe. Before that, we had a program called Leela. This was about how Krishna taught yoga. So because Krishna is supposed to be blue-bodied and everything about him is blue, 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 Shiva also blue, all right? So, there was one blue day where we told everybody, please put on at least a spot of blue in your clothing. So most people came dressed up blue, the lighting was blue, all decor was blue, all flowers were blue, all the arrangements were blue. And when I opened my mouth to speak, my tongue was blue. When they sat for lunch, the rice was blue color, everything blue. Then they were overwhelmed by this and they came out and there was blue smoke coming out of the mountain. So I said, I'm just trying to tell you that this is the extent of elaborateness that we go to when we do these special programs. Only three we have done till now, Vaibhav Shiva, Leela and Mahabharat. This is the fourth one. This is called as Shiva, the ultimate mystic. This is not that you are going to become a mystic, but some exposure to know that something exists like this, something beyond the framework of our logical minds, something beyond the sense of physicality that we have about this world, beyond this, how creation is, an exposure to this. Well, considering the virus situations, only 250 people will be taken into this program. I'm very sorry about that, but that is a requirement, otherwise we cannot conduct the program itself. So it'll be very culturally rich with music, dance, theatre, variety of things happening, all with social distancing. So, we want this program to be absolutely safe so that the numbers… because of that, the numbers are limited and well, it's a kind of an adventure because taking people through not mysticism per se, but even to expose them to something which doesn't fit into the framework of their psychological stuff or even physiological stuff. Because physical framework and mental framework are the only two things which is not allowing you to experience what's beyond this. The more seriously you take your physicality and your psychological structures, the more you become incapable of experiencing anything beyond. If you learn to relax this a little bit, that you don't take this seriously. Just yesterday somebody was asking me, Sadhguru, how do I not take my thoughts seriously? I said, just see that all your thoughts that you've generated till now have been absolutely stupid. Yes, because from the limited data that you've gathered, you're going on making up things about everything. The situation is like this. Suppose there is a 1,000,000-piece jigsaw here. You found 3 pieces, you put them together and say, wow, it is a bear. Well, if you are a 2-year-old child, we'll say, all right, it's a bear. Play with it. But if you're an adult and if you do this, we say you're dumb, stupid. Yes or no? That's all that's happening with the logical mind. You pick a few pieces, those pieces may be sufficient for your survival, not for exploring existence, not for exploring creation, not at all. Simply not possible, because with 3 pieces of jigsaw when it has millions of pieces is a ridiculous way to understand or to experience anything. These pieces that you have gathered are good for you to earn a living, manage your stuff around you, it's fine. But if you just gather these trinkets and you think they're everything, you'll only end up with that, a warehouse of things. Yes, most people don't have a home, they have a warehouse. Hello? Many of you living in a warehouse, isn't it? Because there is enough things there for 50 people, though there are only 3 people in the house. This happened. There was a Zen master whose name was Ryokan. He was living in a small little hut with bare minimum stuff. One day a thief entered his little hut. He was sleeping and the thief was slowly trying to find something, but it's an empty place. He looked this corner, it's dark, in this corner, that corner, he's looking, feeling his way out to pick up something, nothing. Then this Zen master woke up, sat up and said, I'm so sorry, there is nothing here for you to take. The only thing that I have is this old pair of clothes that I'm wearing. You take this. It's cold outside, you take this extra clothing. And he took off his clothing and gave it to him and sat there naked. The thief did not understand what this is, but first thing you've been caught. The next thing is you're being given a gift, and the gift is some clothes that he was wearing. Just not able to figure out, this is a mystical situation, you know. Because in the mindset of a thief, he cannot understand how can somebody give away the last possession of his life. Confused and feeling, kind of zonked out by mysticism, he went away. Then Ryokan sat there and lamented. He looked out of the hut, there was a wonderful full moon, today is a full moon, it's a very rare full moon, you know this? Looked out at the moon and said, I wish I could have given this moon to him, but I don't have it, so I gave my clothes. So what I'm saying is, only survival process fits into the framework of your psychology and physiology. Survival. Survival and survival alone, nothing more. So if you want some exposure to a dimension beyond this, well, this is an attempt to create a very strong, a beautiful cultural event to expose you to mysticism, not to experience mysticism, maybe some taste. Sometimes even by smell you experience something, isn't it? Hello? If you smell it, mouth waters, some experience is happening. Yes or no? If you… now I can't make out who is you. If you happen to be Indian, behind the mosque, then if you just think of raw mango, chili and salt, right here in the December month, it will water, mouth will water. Already mouth watering. Please, when you want to spit it out, remove the mask and do it, okay? Because it can happen. It's become so much a part of you. This happened to farmer Jack in Tennessee. The old farmer, over 80 years of age, but still very strong and healthy man, always been hardworking. So his grandchildren decided they must take him to a doctor for a medical checkup, and he had never been for a medical checkup, he didn't know what it is. So they took him for a medical checkup, the doctor examined him, all different aspects of examination, everything he did, and said, "You are strong as an ox. Really, there's no problem with you. Only thing is, it will be, winter is coming and I see you're not wearing your underwear, you're just pulling up your pants. It will be more healthy to wear underwear, and it will be much warmer also for you in this stage of your life, and it is also clean to do that. There is cleanliness, there is warmth, and health will come out of this." So the grandchildren bought him underwears that he had never worn all his life. So he wore the underwear, and then he was ploughing the field, he was on the tractor, and then he felt like relieving himself. Went down and sat for a shit. Then after he was done, he looked back and said, "Wow, it's really clean." And then he came and sat on the tractor seat. Then he said, "Yes, it is warm. Health will come for sure." Are you too cold, or can we handle one more question? Huh? You feeling warm? It's all right, they're warm, you can ask another question.
This question is from Claire here at III. Namaskaram, Sadhguru. Why do we not place our feet towards lingas or other consecrated objects, or even people for that matter? Is it simply a matter of respect, or is there a scientific basis for this?
So these days they're doing that, some of them. In the Western cultures, when you meet somebody, you shook hands. Because of virus, they don't want to touch. Some are doing elbow touch, some are doing feet shaking. So it's beginning to happen, Claire, you don't have to feel disappointed. It's beginning to happen. Shaking a leg at each other. Well, why… if there's an energetic situation, you always are asked to cross your legs, not to stretch your legs in the direction. Well, this respect thing is a more newer expression of that, essentially because you can receive anything that comes towards you in many different ways. The yogic intention always is to receive it from the higher aspects of your life. You know there is anahata, which is the meeting of two triangles. Below that is Manipuraka, Swadhisthana and Mooladhara, which are all chakras representing different aspects of survival process. Survival, basic survival, reproductive process, maintenance process, all survival related. Here it comes, and there are two triangles intersecting each other, because this is ultimate ecstasy, this is realization, this is power, this is love, and these sections, these triangles intersecting. When there is a consecrated space, what it means is, there is a powerful energy which has the possibility of transforming you. That energy must come to you always from the highest possibility that you can receive. If you can receive from your Sahasrar, it would be too fantastic. That is the reason, the moment any Indian person goes into temple, first thing is, they want to expose this. They keep it wet. In a proper temple, they are told, even in the Dhyanalinga temple, people go wet themselves, a wet head, because they are hoping this energy will enter here. It didn't work, so hoping here. Didn't work, then they will take, hoping this will have worked. Nothing worked, then they will say this. But they don't want to go here, because these are survival processes. We don't want to enhance them. We want to enhance other dimensions of life which will enhance our life, because if you survive better, if you survive, it's good. It's very essential we survive. But surviving better than somebody is not a life goal. It's a waste of time, because whatever you do, you're not going to survive forever. Hello? Whatever you may do, even minus the pandemic, you will not survive forever. So there is no need to invest too much in the direction of survival. So, because of this, the whole culture understanding this dimension, they created the societies in a certain way. Well, today what you find is a whole distorted version of that, but fundamentally it is still there, that when you go to any consecrated space, you're like this, because you wanted to enter here, you want to become blissful, ecstatic. Doesn't work, at least peacefulness and realization, balance and free from all kinds of poisons that are there in the world should not enter you. So essentially you want the upper part of your body, above anahata, to be exposed to this. You don't want to sit with your legs open like this in front of a consecrated space, because that will attract a totally different kind of energy towards you, and that will work for you in a completely different way, which is not necessarily beneficial to you, it could be detrimental to you in many different ways. That's a reason when you sit in any space where you think there is power, there is energy, you always cross your legs and sit, because you want to close the lower part of the body. If you do this, you know in some way you are close to people, isn't it? Hello? Ladies, you know this. Suppose somebody is talking to you, let's say a stranger has come, a man, talking to you. Will you talk to him like this? Hello? Well, some of them are doing it these days, because they think what is wrong? Nothing wrong, you will bring a certain different type of attention to yourself. Well, if the man is decent, he will do this, if you are Indian, otherwise you will say hello and maybe shake his hand. And if he's acting little fresh, you will say, yes or no? Because you know, you may not know intellectually, but instinctively you know what kind of postures bring what kind of attention to you, isn't it? Hello? Whatever culture you have grown up in, instinctively you always know, because it happens in the body. It's not that we make up in the mind, certain things happen in the body. So certain cultures have very consciously evolved these postures that if you want to do this is how you must sit. It's very, very important. Even food, I'm telling you, even in ashram, it's not possible because most people can't bend their legs except in the morning. when we crack it. I'm telling you, if you sit in front of food, one advantage you have is there is a table between you and the lower parts of your body. But if you sit with food but with legs open, like many people are standing and eating, if you stand and eat, there are many negativities to this, because you must understand the longing for food is not just in your mouth. Entire body is longing for it. Entire body. Well, people will say, oh, there is nothing scientific about it, is my navel longing for food, is my genitals longing for food? Yes, it is. You may not understand, every part of the body is longing for food, but it must go through this route, isn't it? Hello? Similarly, there are other kinds of longings in our body, they must go through the right route, then only life works out in a certain way, otherwise you will distort life. So keeping your legs crossed whenever you see a powerful form is a very important thing. And also food, food is a very powerful thing. Hello? If you've not eaten for 3 days, you understand it's a very powerful thing, isn't it? Hello? It is a very powerful thing, and you will see if you've not eaten for 3 to 5 days, every cell in the body will long for food. Now if you place food here, it's not just here, mouth waters, everything works. So it's important that your legs are crossed when food comes in front of you, but you have found another way, shielding yourself with a table. All right, if that is working for you. But if you're having food, you're very hungry and food is exposed to the entire body, this is not good for you. This goes for food because we consider food as a very powerful instrument, consecrated objects, and human beings who are of a certain power within themselves, you never open your legs and sit like this in front of them, because that will bring a wrong kind of energy into your system. What is… I'm asking you, is it good to shit? Hello, I'm asking you a question. Yes. But it must come out of a certain part of your body. If it comes out from elsewhere, it will become terrible, isn't it? Hello? Similarly, food should go in a certain way. Food going in is not only physical food going in, food goes into you in so many ways, because the entire body is capable of this. I must tell you my experience. Once we had a major success in some business venture when I was doing this. So, I was always exposed to nature wherever possible. I've been trekking, motorcycling, all this, but my partner is a nice city boy. So we decided that we will go to a place where there was a reservoir, like a dam, and there's a big lake, and there are small, reasonable-sized hills. We went there and we were all swimming. After swimming, I was still in my swimming trunks. I thought, let me climb the hill. It was summer months, pretty dry. So I went up the hill. Now sometimes I wonder, these days wherever I go, somebody's carrying a bottle of water. At that time, I rode through the day and night. I never had a water bottle with me. We just managed just like that. So I went up the hill. As I went in the summer heat, bare-bodied, I was sweating heavily, but I have a problem of turning back halfway. So I want to go all up, all the way up and then come down. I went up, and as I was beginning to come down, I started feeling that I was suffocating with my tongue kind of bloating up. I was dehydrating so much that my tongue was becoming like a block in my breathing, and I really started struggling. I badly needed at least a few drops of water. I tried to lick my own sweat, but it didn't help. When I thought I'm going to kind of literally lose my consciousness, like I'm going to faint, then I just sat there with my eyes closed for some time. Then I realized my entire body, like all the hair on my hands and legs are all going this way. It's not like goosebumps. Goosebumps means this will rise this way, this will rise this way. I just saw that all the hair pointing this way. And I just knew, there's water somewhere here. And I just went in search of it. I went into a small, beneath a rock outcrop, like a small cave. Cave not for a human being, maybe rabbits and rats and those kind of animals could go and stay there, that kind of cave, just about that much. There was a small pool of water. Maybe it was rabbit's urine or it was rainwater, I don't know what the hell it was, it didn't matter. I just put my face into it and drank up the whole thing, including the mud and everything. I sat there for a while, recovered from that and came down. Why I'm saying this is, when you really need something like food or water, you will see every cell in the body will long for it. If you pay attention, you will see thirst is not just in your mouth, it's everywhere. So, the same goes not just for food, the same goes for other types of energy also. Every cell in the body longs for it. It's very important you receive it the right way. So whenever you feel there is a powerful place, it's always best to cross your legs and sit down if you're sitting there, not sitting like this. You will attract something that you don't need. Brahmananda Swarupa Isha Jagadisha Akilananda Swarupa Isha Mahesha Brahmananda Swarupa Isha Jagadisha Akilananda Swarupa Isha Mahesha Brahmananda Swarupa Isha Jagadisha Akilananda Swarupa Isha Mahesha. Vivekananda was just 18 years of age and he was a fiery youth. He's not a spiritual seeker as such. So he went to Ramakrishna and asked, "Can you prove there is God?" Ramakrishna asked, "Do you have the courage?" He saw something that he had never imagined in his life. And then the madness caught him. He set fire to a lot of people. Vivekananda was the first yogi who came to United States of America.
He said, "Give me 100 people, I will change the face of this country."